Hi guys, this is Joe from PrepAgent. Today we're going to go over some property ownership questions. Should all be excited. Please excuse the sound in the background today. There seems to be a massive electrical thunderstorm today, so you may hear that in the background. If there's any technical difficulties, I apologize. But with that being said, I hope you guys are ready to go over some property ownership questions. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. If you guys are ready to begin, give me a thumbs up in that chat window so I can see you guys can hear me and everybody's responding and we're good to go. So let's see a thumbs up from you guys. All right, great. Nice to see you, Amber. Okay, so let's get into it. Without further ado, when a company furnishes materials for the construction of a house and that company is not paid, it may file a deficiency judgment, B, lease pendants, C, default judgment, D, mechanics lien. What do you guys think? Okay, and the answer is D, mechanics lien. So if you guys have listened to my webinars before, we've been doing them about 2 weeks now. And you know that when there's an answer, I tend not to just leave it at that. I'll probably have a follow-up question. So my follow-up question here would be, is a lien an encumbrance? Is a lien an encumbrance? What do you guys think? Is a lien an encumbrance? Okay, Trisha says yes. Amber, Samantha, yes, yes, yes. And yes, it is. All right, double or nothing for all you guys. So it is an encumbrances. Okay, lien is an encumbrance. Are all encumbrances liens? Let me throw that one at you guys. Are all encumbrances liens? No, not all encumbrances are liens. So my logical follow-up would be, can you guys name an encumbrance that is not a lien? Can you name an encumbrance that is not a lien? What do you guys think? So lien has to do with money. Okay, so an encumbrance that is not a lien, a great example would be an easement. All right, good job, because that's an encumbrance, but it has nothing to do with money. Nice job, guys. Let's move on to another question. A tenant has an estate for years. According to the written one-year lease, the tenancy will expire on May 1st. To obtain possession after May 1st, the landlord, A, must give the tenant 15 days notice, B, must give the tenant 60 days notice, C, is not required to give the tenant any notice, D, must give the tenant 30-day notice. Okay, and the answer here is C. Okay, and that's because you're looking at a one-year lease, all right? It's an estate for years, okay? And with that type of estate, you know when it's going to terminate from the moment you move in. It's for a designated period of time. So therefore, you don't need to give notice because you kind of gave the notice the moment you moved in. So an estate for years is a type of less than freehold estate. Can you guys name for me the other 3 types of less than freehold estates that could potentially come up on your exam? What do you guys think? So an estate for years is a type of less than freehold estate. Can you name the other types of less than freehold estates that could potentially come up on your exam? Estated sufferance is one. Good. Periodic tenancy, another. And estate at will. So you have your less than freehold estates. Estate at years, periodic tenancy, estate at will, and estate at sufferance. Those are the different types of less than freehold estates. Nice job, guys. Okay, just remember, less than freehold, leases. Which of the following best describes fee simple absolute estate? A, it is the maximum estate in land, but lasts only for the duration of the property ownership. B, it will have the maximum rights unless a deed condition limits. C, it is the maximum estate in land and lasts forever. D, the duration is dependent upon the language of the deed. What do you guys think on this one? Okay, Michelle has B. Here's Samantha with A. So I see a lot of A's and B's. So we're obviously going to have to talk about this one, which is great. No problem with that. Okay, is the maximum estate in land and lasts forever. Okay, so you have your freehold estates and less than freehold estates. Freehold estates, all right, are not limited by any duration. Less than freeholds are limited. That's why they're leases. So they're not technically leases. They're really technically less than freeholds are limited by a certain period of time. Okay? Whereas a fee simple absolute is the maximum degree of freehold estate. So there's no time limit on it whatsoever. A buyer learns from his real estate professional the ownership rights of the seller's property will continue forever, and that no other person claims to be the owner or has any ownership control over the property other than the seller. The buyer will have what type of estate upon closing? A, leasehold estate. B, fee simple qualified fee estate. C, life estate. Or D, fee simple absolute estate. And the answer is D. That's a follow-up on the one we just went over. Okay, so you got your less than freehold estates and freehold estates. The word estate has to do with duration of time. Here's an interesting question that nobody ever thinks about. If I ask you, what are you getting licensed to sell? What would you answer? So if I asked you, what is your license all about? What's it called? It's not called a house sales license. It's not called a property sales license. It's called a real estate salesperson's license. So why is it called real estate license? What does the word real estate mean to you? Why don't they call it a house salesperson's license or a building salesperson's license or a land sales license? Why do they use the word real estate? Well, to understand that, let's break this down. What does the word real mean to you? So what does the word real mean? Good. So you're buying or selling the bundle of rights of the property. Good. So real is the stuff that goes with the property. It's affixed to the property. It's immovable. The land and all things that go with it. Okay? That's real property. Estate has to do with duration of ownership. So that's why you have the word real estate. Real has to do with all things that go with the land and go with it. Okay. And estate has to do with duration of ownership. That's one of those fun facts. You'll sound super smart when you work with your clients. If you ask them, do you know why it's called real estate? And if you can explain that, not only will you pass your exam, but you'll have a little interesting nugget for your clients when you start practicing real estate. Okay, moving right along. General real property taxes are also known as A, special assessments, B, voluntary liens, C, ad valorem taxes, or D, appropriation funds. And the answer is C, ad valorem taxes. What is ad valorem Latin for? Who could write that in? What is ad valorem Latin for? Who knows? According to value. Good job. Double or nothing for you guys. What is caveat emptor Latin for? Caveat emptor. Buyer beware. Good job, Madeline. And for all of you who are new here, Arthur, the person who just gave Angelica that great advice, he's my partner and he handles the chat window while I talk. So if you guys need any help, he's there to help you guys as well. Sometimes it's hard for you to manage the chat window while talking. So thanks, Arthur, for helping us out there. Okay, here we go. A mechanic's lien would be properly classified as an A, voluntary lien, B, general lien, C, equitable lien, D, specific lien. Okay, I see a lot of you guys answering. D, specific lien. Good job. Okay, so we said liens means you owe money. And liens go into different categories. The first category is general and specific. General means they can go after everything if you don't pay. Specific means they can only go after certain things specifically. So my question to you guys is, can you give me an example of a general lien? Give me an example of a general lien. What do you guys think? An example of a general lien. Let's think about this one. Judgment lien. Property taxes would be a specific lien. Okay? So property tax specific lien. Income taxes would be a general lien, because if you don't pay your property taxes, they could just come after your property. Income tax would be a general lien. Good job. Judgment lien would be a general lien. Mechanics lien would be a specific lien. The other category is voluntary and involuntary lien. Okay? A voluntary lien is a lien that you want, such as when you get a loan, like a mortgage or a trust deed. An involuntary lien is basically most of all the other liens. Taxes, judgments, mechanics liens, things of that nature. Okay, so following up with that line of thinking here, Which of the following is a specific involuntary lien? A, an income tax lien. B, a judgment lien. C, an estate tax lien. D, real estate property tax lien. So specific involuntary lien. Okay, and the answer here, be D. Remember, income tax and judgment lien, all right? Those are general liens, income tax and judgment, all right? And same with an estate tax lien. Okay, the specific lien here is the real estate property tax lien. Which of the following terms refers to sole ownership by one person? A, tenancy in common. B, severalty. C, joint tenancy. D, community property. The answer here, be B, severalty. Okay, so severalty is when you own something for one person. What do they call it when you own it with multiple people? So severalty is one person. What do they call it when you own it with multiple people? So that answer would be a concurrent estate. Concurrent estate. Nice job, Samantha. There's different types of concurrent estates. You got tenancy in common, joint tenancy, community property, tenancy by entirety. There's different types of ways you could own with other people. Most all of you deal with tenancy in common and joint tenancy. Some of you, depending on your state, will deal with community property or tenancy by entirety. Okay? But all those have to do with different types of concurrent estates. The two big ones all of us have to know, regardless of what state you're in, is tenancy in common and joint tenancy. The other ones regarding marriage vary upon state to state. So, my question to you guys is, what is the difference between a tenancy in common and joint tenancy? What do you guys think? The difference between tenancy in common and joint tenancy. Okay, survivorship. That's one of the big differences. Okay, in a joint tenancy, you have something called the right of survivorship. Meaning, if I took the property with Amber, okay, so Amber and I take the property, and I die, Amber gets the property. She has the right of survivorship. But if we have it as tenancy in common, Amber and I die, and in my will I have it go to my heirs, then Amber doesn't get it. My heirs get that portion of the property. That's what they mean by right of survivorship. But it doesn't end there. Joint tenancy has this thing called to tip, which Pearl wrote. Good job, Pearl. To tip. TTIP. Or PIT, if you want to use that. PITT. Or TIP, I don't know. As long as you remember the TTIP or PITT. What does that stand for? What does TTIP stand for? That's something that makes joint tenancy joint tenancy. You need unity of these four things. What are they for a joint tenancy? Time, title, interest, and possession. Nice job. What is the one thing you need for a tenancy in common? So joint tenancy is time, title, interest, possession. Tenancy in common only has one of those things. Which one is it? And the answer would be possession. Possession would be the one thing you need. Good job, guys. So tenancy in common is the one that's more, well, common. Okay? If we didn't know each other that well, but we wanted to get a property together, we would get it as tenancy in common. Joint tenancy is more reserved for people you're extremely close with because everything is shared. That's not as common. Here's a question for you guys. When you take property with a corporation, would it be joint tenancy or tenancy in common? I'll even change it. Can you take it as joint tenancy if you wanted to? So if you're taking property with PrepAgent, our corporation, not Joe, can you take it as joint tenants? I see you guys answering no. Why? Why can you guys not take property with PrepAgent? And the answer is because corporations don't die, they dissolve. So there's that natural imbalance there. Okay, excellent, Sergio. It's not a real person. Corporations have no death. So joint tenancy cannot be taken with a corporation. And what I'm trying to get at is a lot of you guys try and memorize these questions, memorize things. But sometimes if you understand the concept, you'll understand a lot more questions than if you just memorize them. So if you understand that right of survivorship, even if you've never heard that question before about a corporation, you would say to yourself, well, there's right of survivorship, but corporations don't die, so therefore you cannot take it with a corporation. Oops, sorry guys. Go to the next one. A tenant's lease has expired, but the tenant has not vacated the premise or negotiated a renewal lease. The landlord has declared that the tenant is not to remain in the building. This situation is an example of A, tenancy at sufferance, B, tenancy at will, C, an estate from period to period, or D, an estate for years. And the answer is tenancy at sufferance because the landlord is suffering. Remember, we're on team landlord now. We're no longer on team tenant. What state are you guys from? Just out of curiosity. Let me know what state you're from. So I want everybody to write down the state they're from. I just want to get an idea of how diverse we are here across the country. Cali, Minnesota. That's my Minnesota accent. Minnesota. South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, West Virginia. When I think of Georgia, I think of that Ray Charles song. So we got a huge, diverse crowd. Good to see everybody. Okay. The principal difference between an estate for years and estate from period to period is that A, estate for years is a life estate. B, estate from period to period must be in writing. C, estate for years cannot be terminated. And D, estate from period to period has no expiration date. And the answer is D. Good. Okay, a question about easements here. An easement that we said are encumbrances. If the owner of the dominant tenement becomes the owner of the servient tenement and merges the two properties, the A, easement is terminated. B, easement becomes dormant. C, easement is unaffected. D, properties retain their former status. The answer is A. Easement is terminated. An easement is the right to cross somebody else's property. So if you own that other property, why do you need a right to cross it? It's yours. On a side note, I really hope you guys are using the PrepAgent study group we have on Facebook. If you guys have used that, I hope you write something in the comments here to let everybody know your experience, because there's a lot of good people sharing questions and answers that they have for the real estate exam and for real estate in general. And also there's a lot of positivity from people who passed, why they passed, what they did to pass, and people who failed and share that experience too. So they could say why they failed and what they're doing next time. And maybe they're looking for a little positive encouragement from people just like you. So I really recommend you guys check that out. It's really formed a good community of people trying to enter the real estate field. Which of the following is true of condominium ownership? A, the association pays the unit income taxes. B, the association pays the unit real estate taxes. C, the ownership of a unit cannot be willed. D, the common elements cannot be sold separately. And the answer is D, the common elements cannot be sold separately. Here's a tough question for you guys. Who here knows the difference between a condo and a co-op? The difference between a condo and a co-op. What do you guys think? The difference between a condo and a co-op. Okay, co-ops like having shares. I see that written down. Condos individually owned. Here's the easiest way I can explain it for everybody. If you want, write this down. A condo, you would own 1 of 10 units. In a co-op, you'd own 1/10 of all 10 units. Is it literally like that? Well, it depends on the place. But as a way to explain the concept, I like that example. A condo, you own 1 of 10 units. In a co-op, you own 1/10 of all 10 units. That's why co-ops tend to be a lot smaller, okay? Because everybody has a piece of the property. And they could have says in who buys it, who sells it, things of that nature. And that's why condominium and those tend to be part of much bigger complexes. So we went over this before. Which of the following is a voluntary specific lien? A, property tax lien. B, mortgage lien. C, IRS tax lien. D, mechanics lien. So we did a similar question before that asked about general liens. This one's a voluntary specific lien. And we said there really is only one voluntary lien that comes up, and that's when you're taking out a loan to get the property. So good job, that mortgage. A tenant who holds possession of a landlord's property without a definite lease term, but with the consent of the landlord, has A, tenancy at will, B, tenancy in common, C, tenancy in sufferance, D, holdover tenancy. What do you guys think? Good job. A title search for a property under contract has revealed several outstanding liens against the property. Which of the following liens has the highest priority? A property tax lien for the current year. B, a judgment lien rendered and recorded last month. C, a special assessment for the current year. D, an outstanding first mortgage lien dated and recorded 1 year ago. And the answer is a property tax lien for the current year. Just remember, nobody takes priority over the government. Okay, you got to think of when you pay off your liens, it's like a hierarchy, like a totem pole. And at the top of that totem pole is the government. And at the very bottom is the lender. And in between that, you got things like taxes and insurance, things of that nature. Okay, so if you owe a certain amount of money and you only have enough money for one of those liens, well, the property tax lien is the one that's going to get paid back, not the rest of them. Under which type of lien are both the real property and the personal property of the debtor sold to pay the debt? A, mechanics lien. B, judgment lien. C, real estate tax lien. D, assessment lien. B, judgment lien. So a judgment lien is a general lien. You guys remember what a general lien means? It means they could come after everything, everything and anything they want. They're coming to get you. Hey, on a side note, I really hope you guys like this new format. We've been doing it about 2 weeks now. And the reason we did it, because the one-on-ones, I could only help one person one time. And it got overwhelming. There's too many bookings, and I wasn't able to help as many people. And also, I didn't think it was quality of an experience as this is. We changed this because we think it's a much more quality experience for each person, even though it's not one-on-one, but they could come back every single day and do this with us all the time throughout the month. Whereas that one-on-one, it was basically one and done, as I only had so much time in a day. So now everybody who's a membership with us or is aware of us can come back every single day and go through this every day instead of one time. So I hope you guys like it, and I really want to keep it up because I enjoy doing it. But if you have any feedback, please let us know. And we'll do what we can here. Okay, next question. A married couple owns a farm together with a right of survivorship. Their ownership is most likely A, community property, B, tenancy in common, C, severalty ownership, or D, a tenancy by the entirety. And the answer would be tenancy by the entirety. Community property does not necessarily have that right of survivorship. It could go to the kids and the heirs. A judgment lien filed in court usually covers A, the debtor's real and personal property in the state in which it was recorded. B, only the debtor's personal property located in that country. C, only the debtor's real property located in that county. Excuse me, not country, county. D, the debtor's real and personal property located in that county. Remember, judgment lien is a general involuntary lien. What I want to quickly do with you guys is go through some vocabulary. This is something I talk about all the time. Super important you guys go through this, and we're almost done. So before we end, I want to hit on some vocabulary to make sure you guys are ready and have been studying properly. Okay, so here we go. Economic obsolescence. Try and define this in 2 or 3 words. Economic obsolescence. Outside factors. It's a form of depreciation that could ruin the property outside the property lines. Latches. What is latches? Latches. Latches would be a delay. Unreasonable delay. Okay, remember, these flashcards are great on your smartphone. So if you're waiting online at the post office or waiting for your kids to come out of school, it's a really good thing to do, because all you do is push on the screen and it turns to the next card. Principle of conformity. What's that about? Principle of conformity. Principle of conformity. That's an appraisal term that says if everything is built with the same design, values will go up. Appreciation. Appreciation. An increase of value. That's an easy one. Hopefully all you guys got that one. Agency. So what's agency? Okay, it's when one party acts for another. When we talk about agency, we hear this term ACOLD, ACOLD. Do you guys know what that stands for? ACOLD. What does that stand for? That ACOLD. Okay, it stands for A is accountability, C, confidentiality, O, obedience, D, disclosure, and L, loyalty. Okay, got to know that one. Vendee. What's a vendee? Good. So a vendee is somebody who receives property. Vendor sells it. Well, technically, a vendee is somebody who receives any goods, just like Madeline said. Good job, Madeline. A vendor is just somebody who sells. Remember, OR gives, EE receives. Nice job. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for today. I want you guys to check back tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be doing another one. Going to do these Monday through Friday, all throughout the week. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to join that study group. And other than that, this is Joe from PrepAgent, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thanks, everybody. You rock. Thank you for saying I rock. I appreciate that.